Good morning to all my students. I am welcoming you in the new lecture of accountancy. And before starting the lecture, I just want to suggest you that as we all know that we are going through a very crucial time. We all are. It's not us, but in fact the world is actually fighting with a very deadly disease, that is the COVID-19. So as we all know that the medicine of or the drug of this disease has not yet be find out. So it's our duty and it's our awareness that we should aware about how to survive in such a environment where there is an infection. So I suggest you to, whenever you go outside, you must wear the mask. You must keep the social distancing, and also you must have, whenever you go outside, you must have the sanitizer with you, so that if you are touching something, you at least you can, if there is no way out or there is no water, at least you can wash or you can apply the sanitizer on your hand just to protect yourself. And also you protect, with the help of this you can also protecting not only yourself but your family also. So we are going to start the new chapter, that is the special purpose books. In our previous lecture we have just tried to understand what is the cash book, that we have also studied about the journal, how we pass the entry in the journal. That is the first book, a day book, where we actually recording all the transactions, and then with the help of the journal we just post all those transactions by classifying according to their accounts and classify, and then we put it into the or post it into the ledger. So that is okay when your business size is small, but it becomes so difficult to when your business size grows. When you are grow, then it is difficult and be very complex to just maintain a one book, because there are so many transactions related to the cash, related to your sales, related to so many things, and it is very difficult to just maintain a one book. So instead of making or maintaining a one book, that one book is actually divided into different other books, which is called the subsidiary books. At least actually that is the journal, but we have just decided the journal into small books, which is called the special purpose books. So it means we can say that the journal is subdivided into the books of original entry, and there are number of the transactions in the large size business firm. So it is subdivided into the cash book, purchase book, sales book, then the sales return book and the purchase return book. And what is not coming in these 5 books will ultimately go to the general property. That is general proper book. So we can say the subdivision of journal. Today we are going to study about the subdivision of the journal. So in the subdivision we have the 5 books and subsidiary books, and what is not coming in these subsidiary books will ultimately go to the general property. So what are the subsidiary books? First is the cash book. First is the cash book, then the purchase book, sales books, purchase return, sales return, and what entry will not coming to these books will ultimately go to the journal proper. So the one part of the subsidiary book, that is cash book, we have just read it, we have just tried to understand it. We also have discussed about one example from your book, that how to pass the entry in the your cash book. We have just done it. Now we are moving to the subsidiary book, as these are basically the 6 books, which is one is the cash book, then the purchase, sales books, purchase return, sales return, and also the general property. So actually these are the books. In the cash book we know that all the cash transactions are recorded, because business is based on the 2 things, that is the cash and the credit. You can't totally based on the cash. You can't totally based on the credit. You have to do your business by the cash as well as with the credit basis. So that's why when we are doing the cash transaction, when we are doing the cash business, we will maintain the cash book, and when we are doing our business with the credit basis, we are to maintain these books. Now see, if you are doing the purchases on the credit, if you are doing your sale in the credit basis, and also if on the credit basis some returns are coming inward, or if you are doing your sales and some returns are coming, that means when you are doing the purchases and there are some some defects, you are going to return it back to the supplier, that is the purchase return on the credit basis. When you are doing the sales with your customer and in the next day or just because of any reason there is a defect in the commodity, the customer comes to you, and that means it will be the sale return, but it is based on the credit. So all the sale, purchase, sale return, purchase return which is on the credit basis will have to be there in these books. You have to adjust these books for the credit basis, because for the cash basis already there is a cash book, and when you are doing the cash purchases, when you are doing the credit purchase or a sale, then you have to maintain all these books. What is not coming to these 5 books ultimately go to the journal log. So one by one we will going to discuss it. So we will move into the cash book. What do we mean? We will move to the purchase book. What is a purchase book? The purchase book is a subsidiary book in which credit purchase of goods, that is good which the firm deal or uses for manufacturing goods, are recorded. Thus, cash purchases of goods and non-goods like fixed asset are not recorded. So, thus cash purchases and your non-goods, that is your assets, will not recorded here. So you must be very much clear about that. In the purchases, only the cash purchases will not record, because cash purchases ultimately go to the cash book, and also you are to only record your tradable items. You are trading with the items and you are purchasing it on the credit basis, only those will go here. If you are purchasing something as an asset on the credit, even then that will not come to the credit, your purchase book, because purchase book is strictly for the purchases of credit. There must be the credit purchases and there must be your tradable item. Same for your sale book. Sale book only record the credit sales, and also sale book is only recorded the things which is of your tradable items. The item other than your trade will not come, like the asset. If you are selling some asset, it will be not recorded here. Also the purchase return and sale return. Purchase return books means when you purchase some commodity or the raw material on the credit basis, and after checking it you have seen there is some defect, you are going to return it. That also will go to be or will be recorded in the purchase book. Also, if there is a sale return, if suppose you sold out the things and on the next day your customer comes with some defective goods with you, and the customer is returning back to you, and also that sale is on the credit basis, then only it will be there on the sale return. Next is what is not coming to these, all will go to the journal logger. So here one by one going to discuss with you. Here I have just explained about the purchase book. What is the specimen, what is the format of the purchase book? Here in the first column there is a date, then you have to write the particulars, then the invoice number. Invoice number is just like a bill number. Then ledger volume, it means whatever your total credit purchase, you will be going to added all credit purchases you are going to be added, will go ultimately to the ledger book, and then this is the ledger volume number. You have to put it. Here is the detail. It means detail what the working mode, what you are doing with the less, or there are some trade discount. you are going to less it. There are some GSTs you are going to consider. All these things you are going to be showing the details column. This is your cost. How much cost is involved here? Next is the if there is a GST, because you know GST, it is a very from the last 2 years it is also added to your book, your syllabus. That's why you have to also show the GST. It is either there is a IGST or there is a CGST and the SGST. IGST we will take it on a single basis, but when there is a SGST and CGST are actually coming together. So there is a percentage of the GST is also given to you. On the basis of that percentage, you have to calculate the amount. So that's why there is an input GST. You have to write here input SCGST, input SGST. If there is a IGST, there is an input IGST. Also there is some expenses you have to be show here, like freight and cartage. All these expenses you will show here. And what will be the total will go to the total column. So this is the actually column of the purchase book. So how you are doing it? This is a small working note. With the help of this, I just want to show you how you will do the details. In the detail column, you have to write the quantity, how much quantity you are taking, and that quantity will be multiplied by the price per article. How many articles you are purchasing, it is going to be multiplied with that, and you need to write the total amount of it. Also, because you are a trader and you are just purchasing the raw material on the bulk basis, that's on the bulk basis the supplier will give you some trade discount. So it means if there is a trade discount, that has to be less from your amount, so it will be going to be less here. When you go to less it, if there is a GST, you have to also consider, because GST is added in the amount, and it means if there is a IGST, you have to add the IGST, input IGST. For the purchase book, for the purchases, you are having the input GSTs. That's why if there is a IGST, you will write the input IGST. If there is a CGST and SGST, you will take it both input CGST, input IGST, that has to be added to your amount. And also after adding the GST, you have to also see that if there is an expense related to the freight or your say cartage, it is also going to be added in the cost. And when you add it, you will have the total purchases that will be there right in the detail column. So this is how you are going to prepare the purchase book. The same specimen is for the sale book. The difference is here there is a cost. You will write here the sale value. You will write here on this, instead of the cost, you will write the sale value. Also, when we are doing the selling, there is the GST, which is called the output GST. So here you are writing for the purchase book, this is input GST. But if there is an IGST or a CGST or SGST for the sale, you will write the output GST. So here, if there is a sale, this is if there is a sale. So sale book, you will write here the selling value, sale value. Here input GST, instead of input GST, you will write the output GST, output SGST, output CGST, or if there is an IGST, you will also write the output IGST. And also if there is a freight or a cartage, you are going to add. So this is the way you will do the cash book as well as the your purchase books. Now next is your whatever which is not coming in your sale book or your purchase book or your purchase return and sale return will ultimately go to your general profit. So what do you mean by the general profit or a general journal? We have discussed about the transaction of a particular nature are recorded in the special journal maintained in the for the purpose. So cash transaction are recorded in the cash book. Credit purchase of the goods or material dealt in are recorded in the purchase book. Next, the credit sale of the goods are recorded in the sale book. Return from the customer recorded in the sale return, and return from the supplier recorded in the purchase books. So apart from the above transaction, there are other transactions which have to be recorded for them. So for the proper place in journal proper, it means, in other words, journal proper is used for recording those transactions which cannot be recorded in any other subsidiary books. The role of journal proper is thus usually restricted to the following types of entries. So it means there are some entry we are going to discuss which is actually for the journal proper. So first is the opening entries. Opening entry will not come in these, so that will go to the journal proper. These are what? Opening entries recorded in the beginning of the financial year. Open the books by debiting the assets and crediting all the liabilities and the capital appearing in the balance sheet for the previous year. And the entry will be sundry asset account debit to sundry liability and to capital account. So this is all about your opening entry, which is actually not recording in these books but will go to the or recorded in the journal proper. So the next is the closing entry. Also closing entry will not record in these books, will go to the journal proper. It is recorded at the end of your accounting years. So for example, now see, closing entries are purchase passed at the end of the year to close the accounts relating to the expenses and revenue, that is the nominal account, by transferring them to the trading account and profit and loss account. So there are some closing entry like trading account debit to the purchases account, for closing the sale account, that is sale account debit to the trading account, and also for the salary account, the P&L account to the salary account. So these are all recorded in the journal proper. There are more entries which is recorded in the journal proper, in which the rectifying entries. Rectify means if there is an error, you are going to rectify those errors, will also not be the part of these but will be go to the journal proper. So entry to rectify the error in the books of original entries or the ledgers are recorded in the journal proper. Next is the transfer entries. Transfer entry will also go to the journal proper, that are if the amount is transferred from the one account to the another account, such as such transfer is also made through the journal proper. Next is your adjustment entries. There are some adjustment entries will also be come to the journal proper, not in these books. What are those? At the end of the year, the amount of expenses or income may have to be adjusted, the amount paid or received in advance, or the amount not yet settled in cash. Such an adjustment is also made through the journal entries. Usually these are like outstanding expenses. So expenses incurred but not yet paid, this will go to the journal proper. Again, the prepaid expenses, that is the expenses already paid in advance for some period in the future, that will also go to the journal proper. Interest on capital, the interest which the proprietor think proper to allow on his investment, that will also go to the journal proper. Next is the depreciation. Depreciation is a written down value of asset. When we are using some asset for the business purpose, then everyday basis the value of that asset becomes reduced day by day. So it is also called the wearing tearing of the asset. That is also be recorded in the journal proper. So depreciation fall in the value of the asset used on account of wear and tear over the period of time will also go to the journal proper. Also there is the entry of dishonor of the bills. Now dishonor means when we are paying the bill and when it is called honored bill. When the check is cleared, when we have just put the check for the payment and the check is cleared, that is called honor of the bill. When you just have given the check on a check, the date number is there, on that date the check should be clear, but for some reason there is no money in your account, it means that check is bound. This is called dishonor of the bill. So this dishonor of the bill is also come to the general proper. So if someone who accepted a promissory note or a bill is not able to pay it on its due date, a journal entry is necessary to record the non-payment of dishonor of the bill. So this will also be passed with the help of the general proper. Also there are some miscellaneous entries. Beside the above, the following entries also require journalizing. That is the credit purchase of goods other than goods dealt in or material required for production of the goods, that is credit purchase of furniture or machinery will be journalized. It means if you are purchasing the machinery, if you are purchasing some asset, it will also not go to the purchases but will go to the general proper. Suppose also the discount allowed and discount received will go to the general proper. All allowances to be given to customer or the charges to be made to them after the issue of the invoice will go to the general proper. On the amount becoming irrecoverable, say because of the customer becoming installment. So you can say the bad debts, all the entry according to the bad debts will go to the general proper. Effect of the incident such as loss of property by fire will go to the general proper, and capital brought in the kind by the proprietor also go to the general proper. So these are all the important entries which will be go to the general proper, and we have already discussed about how to make the cash book. So also I have explained you here that what is the specimen of the purchase book, and also the same specimen you will take it for the sales book, but the difference is here you are using for the purchase book you are using the input GST, but for the sale book you are using the output GST. And also how you are calculate all the total amount of the purchases or the sale. With the help of this, with this working note, you can calculate the amount. One thing that you should also be consider in mind that only those purchases or sales will be taken into consideration which is on the credit basis. One, you are to be noticed that the event or the transaction should be credit basis, and also the goods is your tradable item at the time of the purchase as well as at the time of the sale. Whatever you are dealing with the goods which is your commodity and it is on the credit basis will only be the part of your purchase book, sale return and purchase return, because cash transaction will go to the cash book and purchase and sale books are only meant for the your commodity, your tradable item. So this is all about your subsidiary books. So today we have studied about what is a subsidiary books, that is 5, and whatever which is not coming these 5 will go to the general proper. Also we have discussed about what kind of entries will go to the general proper. So this is all for today, and I will say the good luck to all my students. Thank you.